Yeah.
Cool.
So where do we begin?
Morning, Dave. Do we need to do a cheers?
Yeah.
Or we need to do one? No, we all need to say one at the same time so that you can match up the...
Okay, she's got this thing about saying one. Yeah, do a smack, Bob.
One.
No, God,
That's definitely going in the
No! Smack one. That's what it needs to be.
Oh, Meg, I can do it. Stop panicking.
It'll just save you time.
Meg, we did it all.
Smack on one. Ready?
Yeah.
So what?
Clap, like one.
Okay.
That's it, you've done it.
Felt like that was a bit overcomplicated.
They all do it.
Yeah.
So you let us know where you want to start, what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'll just see where it goes.
Introduce it, yeah, see where it goes.
Hi everyone, I am psychic medium David Maddock, and I am joined here today with my beautiful wife and also the one and only Mr. Bob Sanderson.
I don't get a beautiful.
Unfortunately not, no. Sorry, Bob.
You are beautiful there, Bob.
Yeah. So we're just going to be here having a general chit-chat about life and how's things and how Megan's life is and how Bob's is. Bob's an amazing writer and he's got books and all sorts of musician. Is there anything you haven't done, Bob?
Never jumped off the Eiffel Tower with a bungee.
Would you like to?
No.
Nobody send him on that.
No. So a little bit of a background story with me and Bob is that we go back over 10 years, and we just hit it off straight away. And I want to talk about how it come about and what happened. And when I always speak to people about your intuition, I was in the Yellow Pages trying to find somebody to do this filming for me, and I found Vox Vision. Is that right? Vox Vision.
Yeah.
And I called the number. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I want this man to come and work for me and help me on this show. And if I recall, Bob, you did, at one point you said, I don't really do live events. And I says, well,
never did live events.
No. And I remember saying to you as well, Bob, that, well, Bob, look, if your cameras are not capable, we can use your phone. And I remember Bob's response saying to me, David, I'll have you know, I am a professional.
Was that you seeing into the future about how people are doing it now?
Tons of equipment.
Yeah.
On the phone.
Yeah. Then you come though. We did the show at the Robin. Yeah. Come with this, like, was it the trolley that you come with to film the show? There was like some sort of
a tripod
on. It was the amount of equipment that he come with. I was like, oh my god, this guy really is professional. And
I didn't know what I was doing. Just
who does?
Yeah, but we just hit it off from the get-go, didn't we, Bob? And our friendships just blossomed. And I'm grateful to have you part of my life. And well, you as well, Megan.
We've become part of both of our lives.
Absolutely, and we just help each other. And
I think I had a few contacts then. I managed to get you on TV, which was interesting.
Absolutely. So Bob opened the door for me to get me onto Made TV, but it weren't just Made TV Birmingham. It was actually the whole
channel.
The whole channel. It was broadcast around the country, and I've got a fella called Mark who we just had a sit-down meeting with, and he was like,
It was funny because you and I, we made a pilot, didn't we? We made a pilot. We were hoping to get you a series. So we went down to the Red House Cone in Worsley, and we filmed you doing some readings and made it as a pilot. And I thought we were going to get a 20-minute pitch. 2.5 hours later, he'd absolutely fallen in love with you as a presenter. And got you onto this show as a presenter.
Yeah, we did.
It was a dating show of all things. And looking at the couples to see if they were psychically matched.
Yeah. So my job was to energetically see them, like, are they making this up? Are they really connected? Something I never really dived into before. And I remember the club that we was doing the auditions at, Mark wanted me at the auditions to kind of get a feel for who's going to be involved. He said, just sit back, relax, but just to get you an idea. And I remember this guy sitting down, and I think his name was Jordan. And as soon as he got up, I put it down in my book. I said, he's the winner. And Mark says, Dave, you haven't seen anybody else yet. I was like, that guy's going to win this. And he did.
I was going to ask you, did he?
He did. And through doing that show as well, I met a wonderful crew of people. There was Emma, there's George, there was Evie Burnett.
Well, I was just about to say there's one very important.
Yeah, I was waiting
we'll
to
come back to that.
But meeting Evie Burnett and just everybody just on board, all the staff, all the crew was just amazing and treated me wonderful. Chris as well, who I still keep in touch with now. So that was just a really good part for me and something I really enjoyed. And the idea was that I go there, start picking up the energies, but Mark just started saying to me, like, Dave, just go out there. And I was like, go out there and do what? And he was like, just be you, just go. And we're filming, and I'm like, okay, now I've got to ask all the questions, or, you know, I've got to ask this question, I've got to ask this. And yeah, we had a great time, a great experience.
What came over very well was the fact that you were so natural. I mean, you just took to it like a duck to water.
I really enjoyed it as well. I really enjoyed, there was no pressure. And you'd think that, you know, with all those camera, I mean, the amount of equipment, I've still got the photos now of backstage. And you'd think that, you know, and it was really funny because we'd have all this equipment there. George and Evie Burnett would be doing their thing. And then Mark would say, or somebody would come over, yeah, Dave, just go out now and go out. And, you know, and then I had all these cue cards, no pressure at all. But what a fab experience and what a fab time.
The main pressure you had was you still had a day job. And it was trying to make sure that you could get the time off to do these random, you know, dates they threw at you. And that's always the problem as an entertainer. If you've got a day job as well, you sit and you're bricking it half the time.
What's coming in next, or what you're doing there? I might be there then, and
yeah, absolutely. And going back on that, like working in construction, and you know, I was tarmacking, which my dad got me into from an early age. When I first left, it was like I left school on the Friday, and on the Monday I got work boots on, and that's the way that my dad. And I think that work ethic has actually stuck with me even now, Bob. I mean, Bob will say to me, you know, oh, Dave, do this, and then I'll phone him and they're like, yeah, Bob, I've done that, what's next?
Is it on your business plan?
Yeah. You've always been a bit like that, even me, being in your life for 4 years.
But I think that construction job and being in that environment, kind of that discipline, helped me to have that work ethic within me. And
when did you know it was right to leave the day? A lot of people out there listening now, they're probably saying, oh, I do this in the background, but, you know, I'd love to give up the day job.
Yeah.
When did you know it was right to give up the day job?
It had been sitting with me for a while. And when COVID was a big turning point for me, because when we hit COVID, I got furloughed. And while I was furloughed, I thought, I'm going to give this a go. I don't know how long I'm going to be furloughed for, but I'm going to give this a go. And I just started getting back to all the people that have been messaging me. Because as you say about the difficulty with my schedule with the filming, it was also difficult with my readings because people have messaged me, oh, Dave, can I have a read? Yeah, no problem, 3 p.m, not a problem. Oh, I'm not back from work now. So it's like 6, 7 o'clock. Then you're tired from your day job. Then you're tired from everything that you've done in that day, mentally and physically. And I was just... So when I got furloughed, I used that as my opportunity of, for me, I'm going to use this because I was living on my own. I was on my own. I was very isolated. I really struggled with my mental health from that point. And I think that's why I'm so big on mental health now, because of how much it affected me. I've never, ever felt that isolated, never. But going back to what happened was when we was in furlough, I just got readings coming I had Las Vegas, I had America, New York, I had Italy one, France. I was like, what? And literally all I put was, I've got readings available. And everybody was like, yeah, we want the reading. So it was all done online. And that's when it opened up to me as well, the idea and the concept that actually I can do this online. It doesn't need to be face-to-face. So from there, it always sat with me. I remember the dreaded call to say, because what I wanted was, can I just have one more month, a couple more months? Because we all want that safety net. Went back to work. And I think it was 2021 or 2020 when the COVID finished. What would have been the year?
It was, but then we kind of went back into it for 2021, didn't we? Where it was like you could be outside, but you can't. Can't be around people. So it was.
So 2021 was like the year of like me going back to. That must have been the year I went back in the May around my birthday period, and when I went back, I was just totally disconnected. I was like, what am I doing? Like, you know, I got all, and people, I saw the momentum building, that people was like, Dave, I want to read, and I've heard this, and this is all just word of mouth.
Did going back to work at that point, like, stunt the growth of your readings? Was that kind of the deciding factor that actually this can't coincide or can't coexist?
Yeah, and that's when I realised, because I'd always felt it anyway. And I think it's like with any job, if you do multiple jobs or, your dedication, especially with the work that I'm doing, because I'm dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, it's making sure that every person gets that 110%, David. If I'm only 70%, I feel then I've let that person down, because I want to make... So I've got no shame if I'm doing a reading or if I'm off and I'm like, look, it's not going the way I want it to. Let's postpone. Got no issue whatsoever saying that.
What was the reaction at work when you told them what you were going to do?
So, going back to that, when we was in the van and I was sitting there, and I had a phone call from somebody in production. I don't want to say channels and stuff, but from production saying, we've heard things about you. We want to do an interview on Zoom and stuff. So we did this interview. Then I was like, it was really promising. Then I got to the next stage. And when I got to the next stage, the interview process was slightly different. And the dynamics had changed, where it was like all of a sudden they wanted me to go from doing my shows and filming behind the scenes and all the rest of it, to now all of a sudden they wanted me to, can you do like a ghost hunt thing where, and I'm like, we're going down a route that's not me. And I truthfully believe that we can all have 5 minutes of fame, but that 5 minutes of fame could stay with you a lifetime, or stick with you for a longer period. And I thought, what am I doing here? I'm not sure this is for me. And I kind of made it clear on the Zoom call. But what it did for me was that I felt it was the universe and my spirit guides, my loved ones. I feel like it was those saying to me, Dave, this is your reason to get away from work. I'm leaving. And I said, I'm going to pursue this filming career. At the time, I didn't really know if I was or not. I just felt like this is the universe giving me.
So you said it was to do that job?
Yeah, but it weren't.
It was more to start the business full time.
It was to start the business full time, but I had a reason as to why, because I knew there'd be, from my dad especially, I knew there'd be a lot of backlash and everything else.
Do you think that was a little bit of fear from you though, or did you think you genuinely were going to get like the pushback from people saying, "Oh, you can't really do that. What are you doing that for?"
No, I genuinely believe that the latter, that people would be pushing back, saying, "What are you doing that for?" and questioning it. Whereas if I had a solid foundation, that I didn't want my mindset to change.
Yeah.
So it's really easy, because we naturally think negatively with any situation. To think positively about something, especially to give up such a great job, paid really well. I had a mortgage, my house, I had all these things, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go somewhere different now. And to do that was hard. But I knew that if people thought it was just because of the readings, there would be a negative connotation connected to it, which in return would make it more difficult for me to walk away. People thought, this is just a phase he's going through, he's going to change his mind and whatever else. And now I stuck with it. And
I agree though with the statement, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will agree with this. There's what you do and who you are. And sometimes the two do not gel together.
Absolutely. I think we find that quite a lot of times, don't we, in both our careers.
I had 30 years in sales, and it was great. I mean, financially, it was fabulous. It wasn't who I was, and it was always conflict when I was at work, because I thought, I really don't want to be doing this. It's great, I gave it the best and the rest of it. It wasn't what I was. And I decided at 52 to do. I'd already done it at 40. That wasn't through choice. I got fired.
Skip over that.
And I had a year on my own, but that year proved to me that I could survive. I was the breadwinner in the house, and I went out and did it. But at 52, it was my choice, and I went in and I saw my boss, and I had a fantastic salary, company car, the rest of it. I said, I'm resigning, and he looked at me and said, what? I said, I'm resigning. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to become a professional actor. And his face, he looked at me.
Incredible job.
I think his response was something like, are you something mad?
I can imagine.
And I said, probably. I said, but I'm going to do it. And I was so lucky, because within 3 months, I got a job doing theatre and education. So I was going up and down the country doing 16 one-man history shows for kids. And as you're finding now, I was lucky because I developed multiple income streams. Because to survive, you've got to do that. So I got the acting. I already had a 9-piece soul band. So I had the band, I had the acting. I was doing business acting as well with a different company. my wife and I, we set up our own video production company out the blue. Never done it before. Well, that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
We got that going. I then sort of got rolled into doing voiceovers for people, and I was making a living doing voiceovers as well. And you put all of these things together,
Yeah.
and you go, hey, I've got a career. Never made as much as I did in sales, but it wasn't to be sniffed at, money I was making.
Yeah.
I was so glad that I did it.
Yeah.
And I think having done it at 40 when I got fired, I had the confidence to know that I could survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that backstop, did you? I mean,
No.
you went straight out there and did it.
Yeah, and again, going back to the reason why I brought the years up is because we had 2021 being the awkward year.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, then when I mentioned it to my mum, my dad's like, everybody's in COVID, nobody's being paid, and now you want to quit your job. And I was like, oh. And
But I think that time in life, everybody started looking at, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah.
It gave everybody that time to go, actually, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, and I think
And I'm
people
not.
still do that now.
I
I think
so.
the times have changed. I
Yeah.
think the times have changed in terms of people look at things differently. But the reason I brought that time period up as well is because this is 2021. 2022, the 1st of January, I was full-time spiritual practitioner, Bob, and we just had that instant connection. I think that we probably built a great relationship because you could probably once see my work ethic, that, you know, the way how driven I was and how I would knock on every, I've slowed down a little bit now, mind you, but I mean, I'd knock on any opportunity, any door. I'd be like, right, you know, but I think that because you've done it yourself at 52, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
So you've done it yourself 52, and then you've saw that this is, you know, and I think, Bob, it's credit to you as well, because look, I know that I'm the one that had to do it, but having your support and having that person that I knew that even now I can pick up the phone at any point and just say I'm having a bad period or I'm struggling with this, and you've become more than just a mentor about business, and you've just helped me massively.
The difference is, I mean, I like mentoring people.
Yeah.
That's my attitude. I've had people in my life that have given me opportunities, and you get thankful for that.
Yeah.
And part of you says, I want to give something back.
Yeah.
And I enjoy mentoring people. The difference with David, and there's a couple of other people I work with as well, the people that I've stuck with doing the mentoring are people that actually get out there and do it.
Yeah.
You do find some
Yeah.
people, oh, can you help me do this? But they want it all on plate.
Oh, yeah. They just
Yeah.
want to be handed it.
Yeah.
David, as I say, and a couple of others I work with, they've got the nous to say, okay, I'll take your advice.
Yeah.
I'll round it off to suit me, because
Yeah, it has to be that for
absolutely,
you, yeah.
absolutely.
and then I'll go out and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And David's never been afraid of hard work.
No.
And I respect that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Megan sees it. I mean,
So
she
day
sees
in,
the
day out?
day in, day out.
Do you
Just to, I mean, obviously, me and Bob have mentioned about our background, but what about expand on yours, Megan? Because I know I left my job, as we've just
Yeah.
mentioned. Bob left his job. You did the same thing.
Absolutely did.
So
Yeah. I mean, I have a extensive career history in hospitality, working in hotels, worked my way up from the bar to back of house reservations, into golf sales. I mean, I never knew anything about golf, but my family and my granddad were into golf, and my cousin still plays golf and works in golf.
Drove one.
Have I actually? I don't know. So yeah, moved into golf sales. I mean, I'm selling 4 balls and longest drive, nearest to pin. Like, I have no idea, but you learn it on the job. And then I moved into conference and event sales. So the event background type of thing, and then doing theatre all my life and my musical theatre background. And actually it leads into the story about Evie Burnett. I mean, I was doing my musical theatre training. The person that I looked up to, or the vocal coach that I looked up to when I was doing my training, was Evie Burnett. She was on X Factor, you know, on the telly. She was the person that we aspired to kind of be like, we need to have lessons with her, you know.
Yeah.
We talked about her all of the time. And then to know that you've had this connection with Evie Burnett,
Yeah.
I was like, sorry,
I remember.
sorry, rewind,
Yeah.
rewind.
Like, I remember the conversation. She was like, "You've been on TV with who again?" And I went,
It stopped me in my tracks, didn't it?
The Evie
I was
Burnett.
like Evie Burnett, who teaches singing, who's a vocal coach, and so, going back on my background. So that was, you know, a connection for me and you. So alongside all of the hospitality background, I was working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, sometimes 50 hours a week, then going to a gig on a Saturday night with Soul Junction, because I was in a soul band, to then doing my own stuff, teaching, building my own business. Oh, I mean, I was shattered. Because if I don't go now, I never will.
I agree that you just know when it's right. There's no defining moment. You just go, it's the right thing to do. You wake up one morning and you go, got to do it.
I think for me, I just got to a point where those two things couldn't coexist anymore. So I think there definitely is a time that comes. Is it the right time? I don't think there's ever a right time, but I think you know when your intuition is screaming at you going, no more.
So just to explain to people then, Meg, what is it you're doing? So you do your vocal coaching.
So I have my vocal coaching business, MLD Vocal Tuition. I work at a company called Stage Screen, but that came out of a terrible time in my life. And I went and auditioned for a show, got the lead role, met Heather, and now we work together at Stage Screen. She created her own stage school, and I'm the vice principal and musical theatre teacher there. So I teach kids from 4 years old up to 18. I'm in Roger Park's productions, so we now do lots of different theatre shows, starting off with Piano Man, and we have Electric Dreams, which we've just finished but still doing. And now we move on to the next shows. So yeah, lots going on.
I think there's a massive message here for anybody that's watching, that if you're struggling, follow your dreams and follow your goals and do what feels right for you, and life's too short, and I'd rather look back and say I made a mistake than look back and say I live in regret and saying I should have done this or I should have, literally what I've just said.
Look back on things and go, that got me to where I am now. We wouldn't have the resilience, we wouldn't have the ability to do those things. And I suppose I use my background a lot of times when I'm producing your shows, putting those in theatres, going into my own shows, and I've got the bits where I can go, okay, I don't need to be so hands-on with this. I can just be in it and do those things. And then you've got the bits where you have to put all the work in and the effort. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's the work ethic and the time that you...
To treat it as a business.
Absolutely.
You can't... A lot of people in the creative industries are not necessarily business people, because the two don't always go hand in hand.
No.
And I was lucky, I had a business background. And, I keep hammering on the Davies, do a business plan, David. Do a business plan.
I found that out.
We don't talk about those, but we do.
The thing is, you can work out on paper, you know what your goals are, and you know what you need to survive. You get a figure, even if pluck it from the air. That's what I need to survive. I'm giving up that job. I need maybe not as much, maybe a bit more. I need that. How am I going to get there? You break that down with the things that you do. If you've got multiple income streams, that's great.
Yeah.
Because, life isn't always good. Something's doing well. If you've got multiple income streams, you've always got that. One thing's down, the other thing's up, a bit like the weather vane.
Well, what we've started to do now is my subscription service as well.
Yeah.
Which to try and I'm trying
foundations
to put
in place. Yeah.
Because it's just at the moment there's so much going on, and I'm trying to put, because I get messages from all over the world, and I get messages on DMs, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you think, oh, that's great, but honestly, sometimes it's like.
And you've just written your first book.
Yeah, I have. I finally put pen to paper, and we've been speaking about this for a long time, and it's still the first draft. I've still got to go through it all, but I've just got my head down, got it written out, and I'm hoping to get that by the next few months, hopefully get all that edited.
What did it feel like when that proof copy dropped through your lap?
Oh, well, it was just...
I think I was more mesmerised. You were in a bit of like, oh, it's here. And I was like, it's a real book.
We didn't know. I was like, I've done that, But no, it's great. It is a really good feeling. But it is a really good feeling.
Great achievement.
It really is. I'm proud of myself, and it's rare I ever say that, because I'm always what's next, or I've got to get this done. But I think we all at times need to say, well done us, well.
The fact that you were on this dating show and you were a presenter, and that was all about matching people through your psychic ability.
Yeah.
You've actually had a question come through.
Okay.
Do you see love for them soon?
Good question, and a difficult question to answer when I'm not with the person in front of me, so I can get more of an energy feel for them and where they're at, and then pick some cards for them. But I think the first thing first is, what does love look like to you? Because you're asking, is love going to be there for me? And that's very vague, because you could have family members that love you, you could have a pet that loves you, so you're getting the love, you're saying to the universe, well, the universe is saying, well, here you go, this is what you asked for. You've got to be more precise. What is it that you're actually after? Is it a relationship? Be more detailed and more structured in what you're actually asking for around love. And then most of all, and most importantly, is when we're coming from the angle of, will there be love for me? There's going to be a lack of love for yourself. So be more kind, loving towards yourself. And I think that's something that we struggle with. But if you associate that with the green chakra, which is our heart chakra, which is all connected to love, our emotions, our feelings, focus on something green, and imagine breathing in the colour green, blowing out the negativity, and that will help you balance the heart chakra, love yourself a lot more, and then you'll find that things will unfold. But be a bit more clearer on what you're actually asking. Not, I'm after love, because like I say, you can get that in a variety of ways, but be more of, I actually want a relationship, this is what. And don't be shy to ask the universe either. Some people come to me and feel that, oh yeah, but it's selfish for me to ask the universe for me, or I'm like, no, tell the universe, this is what I want. Be more demanding of, this is what I want, and good things will come. I'm going to pick you all a card, so if you're watching now, this card message is for you, and hopefully it resonates, and hopefully it helps you for the week and month ahead. Triumph and success. We've just been talking about triumph and success. This has been the subject. Can't believe that's come out, and this just proves the point of triumph and success. We know it's going to be difficult, but push forward, and whatever dreams or aspirations or anything that you want to do, now's the time to go for it. A double-edged sword. You're always going to have that, oh yeah, but if I leave that, I'm going to do this. You're always going to feel out of balance with that. Go for it. This is letting you know now's your time. Well, it's been a pleasure anyway. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you have all enjoyed it as well. And we'll be doing this again sometime soon.
Hope so.
Thank you. That was fun.
That was really nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.